peace and greetings in the Hebrew language. Today we're going to go over the basic of the ancient Hebrew language. The ancient Hebrew language is called Lashawan Kodash, meaning the holy tongue, the language that was spoken before the flood. I'm going to read you a little precept here in the book called the Apocrypha. We're going to go to the prelogue of the book of Ecclesiasticus. And we're going to read around the middle verse here. I'm going to read it here for you. You can follow along. It says, "Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to have come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew, and translated into another tongue, have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself, and the prophets, and the rest of the books, have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language." I read this to let you know that when you get into the Hebrew language, the original Lashawan Kodash, when you learn to speak to the Most High, there's power in this language. The word Hebrew comes from the word Eber. When you read in the Bible in Genesis, I'm going to write it down here for you. Eber in the Bible, when you write it in the Hebrew, is Ibar. Ibar, when you translate it in the original tongue, means past. That's where they get the word Hebrew from. The word in Hebrew means Ibar Yath, coming from the root word Ibar, meaning past. So Ibar Yath, or Hebrew, means the language of the past. So today's lesson, we're going to go over the basics. We're going to go over the alphabet. We're going to go over where the roots of the words of the alphabet. We're going to learn how to pronounce it. And we're also going to learn something that we put together called connectors. How to put the letters together so that they make a sound. So we're going to get started very soon here. So, as all we know, Hebrew has 22 characters in it. It's not like English, which has 26 letters. The ancient Hebrew has 22 letters in it, 22 characters. There are no vowels as what we know of today, the A, E, I, or U, but there are two distinctive sounds in the ancient Hebrew language. And that's the ah sound and the I sound. Now you might want to ask, well, how do you know those are the sounds of that's in Hebrew and no vowels? There are different books that you can go to that explain to you that the Hebrew language does not carry vowel sounds. And you can also go to the scriptures. I'm going to read a scripture for you. When Yahweh, which we know today as Christ, when he was on the cross, he said something in the ancient Hebrew. Some say it was Aramaic, but it was basically the old Hebrew. And I'm going to read it for you right now. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 27 and verse 46. And it says, "About the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani." That is to say, my power, why hast thou forsaken me? Now I'm going to write this here on the board. Okay, this is how it's written. Eli, Eli, La, Ma, Sa, Bak, Tha, Nai. Now, we all know that there is no E in the Hebrew. But you notice the sounds. You have the I sound, the La, the Ah sound, the Ma, the Sa, the Ba. And this last letter here is Ha. We're going to go over these different sounds. But these are basic ideas as to the pronunciation of the ancient language. Tha, Nai, with the I sound. So the basic, as you can see, is the Ah sound and the I sound. So now we're going to go over the basic Hebrew letters so we can get some understanding to it. Now, in the previous class I did a few months ago, matter of fact, many months ago, I broke down, through the grace of the Most High, the root, the origin of the Hebrew letters, the meanings, the original roots. But now we're going to get into the actual lesson as to how to pronounce them, how to speak it, how to write the ancient Hebrew, how to read it, and how to make your own sentences, how to make up your own prayers when you pray to the Most High. So the first letter that we're going to go over is the Ah. This is the first letter of the alphabet. And like I said earlier, Hebrew has 22 characters. When you read Hebrew, it's not like English. Hebrew is read from the right to the left. Hebrew, just like any language, has grammatical rules to it. It has nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and all these past tense, present tense, all these different rules in Hebrew we're going to learn as the classes go on. But today we're going to basically learn the alphabet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you, the viewer, while you're watching this, I want you to pronounce it with me. At the end of class, I'm going to give you some homework so you can practice. So that the next class that I put up, I'll be giving out quizzes, which you can go to the website, hodc12.info. I'm going to put all that information up later on. You can go to the website where you'll be able to download homework and different quizzes and tests that I'm going to give over here online. So that's going to come later on. But today, we're going to learn the alphabet. Here's the first letter, Ah. So I want you to pronounce that with me as I say it, Ah. Pronounce it, Ah. Ah. Ah is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Now, most letters in the different languages that's out there today come from the ancient Hebrew. English is one of the basic languages that basically everyone speaks today. But the English language, as we're going to see, English, the letters, most of the letters, they get from the ancient Hebrew alphabet. Like I showed you the Ah. What's the first letter in the English alphabet? A. Notice the similarity between the letter A and the Hebrew letter A. Basically all they did, because we're going to go through this through the whole alphabet, and we'll see how they took the ancient letters, flipped it around, turned it upside down, and came up with what we know as English letters today. So the first letter A, which is the first letter in the English alphabet also, A. The root of this word comes from the Hebrew word alap. Now you're gonna have to pardon my letters. I mean, I'm not a perfect drawer, but I hope you can see and understand it. The Hebrew word for the first letter of the alphabet, A, comes from the original word alap, meaning cattle. Because before the letters came, what was there? People during the time before the flood, they didn't have a written language where they would write down words. Everything was done verbally, by word of mouth. So what actually came first? Did the letter come first, or did the words come first? You would find out when you read in Genesis that words came first. And out of the words came the letters. Because when the Most High gave Adam, back in Genesis, he gave Adam dominion over everything on earth. He said, go ahead, name all the animals, name everything on earth. Whatever it is, you name it, that's what it's going to call. So what did Adam do? He went ahead and he looked around. He said, well, okay, this here looks like a cattle, you know. It's got two horns. It's got ears. You know, this here is well, like I said, don't mind my drawings, you know. But this is what Adam saw in the beginning. He saw a cattle, an ox, basically, with the two horns. And he said, okay, I'm going to name this alap, meaning cattle. Meaning cattle. And that's how we came up with the Hebrew letter later on, A. Going back to the root word alap, meaning cattle. This is where it derives from. The A. And that's also where the first letter of the English alphabet comes from, the letter A. So let's say this letter again. It's the letter A. I'm going to erase this up here. This is the letter A. A also has a numerical value. Each letter in the Hebrew alphabet has a numerical value. The numerical value for the A is number 1. It also has another numerical value, the word alap. The word alap means 1,000. So the A, or the alap, is 1,000. So 1,000 would be, I'll put it over here. Alap. Alap meaning 1,000. But the A numerical value is 1. So now we're going to go into the next letter. The next letter in the Hebrew alphabet is the Ba. Now we're going to repeat the pronunciation of the next letter. Ba. Say it with me. Ba. 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 Okay? Now just like the ba has a root to it also. The word ba comes from the root word bayath. Like I said, later on we're going to learn different words and learn how to put them together. But the root word for the ba comes from the root word bayath. I'm going to write it down here for you to see it. Ba. Bayath. And bayath means house, or tent. Because back in the ancient days, most people didn't have houses. They dwelt in tents. When Israel came out of Egypt and it was in the wilderness, they didn't build houses, they built tents. So the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet is ba, or from the root word ba-yath. Now, like I said earlier, when you read Hebrew, you read it from the right to the left. So you'll be reading this way. Ba-yath. Ba-yath. Ba-yath, meaning house or tent. Now, how did they come up with this word again? Now, like I said, we're going to go back to Adam. Now, when Adam, like I said, the root word, you got to remember the root word is tent. So I'm going to draw you an example. Okay, as you can see right here, this is a tent, but it's turned to the side like that. So like I said before, when Adam saw his tent, this is what he named it. Here's the ba right here. This here would be the ground. And that would be the ba turned on its side. So when you flip it over like this, same thing, same letter. That all we did was flip it to the side, and we came up with the letter ba, meaning bayath or tent. So the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet is the letter ba. Say it with me again one more time. Ba. 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 So the first letter we have is a, and then ba. So we're going to go on to the third letter. Okay, the next letter in the Hebrew alphabet is the ga. The ga, which looks like a 7, but its numerical value is not 7, its numerical value is 3. Now, ga comes from the root word gamal. I'm going to write that up here for you. This is Gamal. Gamal meaning camel. Now the Gamal here meaning camel, which is the root word. Now as the previous letters, you would see that the Ga more looks like the hump on a camel. I'm going to show you that right here. See, if you turn it to the side like that, that's the camel's hump. Right here. I'm not going to draw it or try and draw the camel because it's not going to look that good. But as you can see right here, that'll be the hump on the camel. So that's where the Ga got its root word from. Gamal, or the hump of the camel. And like I said earlier, the numerical value is 3. Coming once again from the root word Gamal, we're going to say the word Ga one more time, as we did the other letters. Here's the Ga one more time, which looks like the number 7. The Ga right here, let's say it again. Ga. Say it with me. Ga, Ga, Ga. The third letter. So far we have, what do we have? We have A, Ba, and now we have Ga. So say them with me now. A, Ba, Ga. Okay, we're moving on. We're going to go to the 4th letter. Okay, the 4th letter we have is the Da. Let's look at the Da right here. This is the letter Da. Looks like a triangle, right? But the root word for the Da is the Hebrew word Dalath. Dalath. You're going to write it like this. Da, La, and Tha. Da, Lath. Da, Lath. Which is the 4th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Now, the word Dalath means door. So I'm going to erase this right now. And I'm going to show you where the Hebrew word Dalath came from. Remember when we did the tent? Notice in the tent, the opening here, the opening for the house or the tent is what? The door. Of course, the second letter, which is the Ba, right here, you see the Ba? It's just turned sideways. The Ba, meaning house or tent, has an opening on it, which is the door. The 4th letter, Dalath. Everybody understand that? The door in the tent, Dalath, from the word Bayath. or the door of the tent is Dalath. So we're going to go on to the fifth letter, which is the Ha. The Ha kind of look like the letter F, don't it? Just turn it all sideways. Oh, got too many lines in there. Looks like the English letter F. But this here is the Hebrew letter Ha, which has a numerical value of 5. Now the Ha comes from the root word, I'm going to write it down here in the Hebrew. Ha sounds the same way, which means to reveal. It's not too much explanation as to how they derive that, but that's the root word for the letter Ha. Not every letter has a physical root or meaning. So the letter Ha comes from Ha, meaning to reveal. Numerical value of 5. So let's say that together. Ha. Say it with me. Ha. Ha. Alright, so far we have 5 letters. I'm going to write them down for you. You're going to say it with me. First letter. A. Say it with me. Ba. Ga. Da. And now we have Ha. So I want you to say it by yourself. I'm not going to say it. You say it by yourself with me. The more you practice saying it, the more you repeat it. If you have to, write them down. Write them down a few times. Write them down 10 times. You know, practice saying it. This is your language now. We got to learn this language. Everybody's got their own language. We're Hebrew Israelites. We're supposed to know our language. So we're going to learn this. The Lashawan Kodash. Kun? Alright, so we have A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha. The next letter we have is Wa. Now when you look at the Wa, you might say it looks like a hook or some kind. Could be. The root word for Wa is Wawa. That's how it's written. Wawa meaning tent peg. Also means to secure. Now the word Wawa also means hook. If you look at it, it's a kind of a hook you use for fishing. When fisherman throws out his line and the fish grabs on to the hook, that hook is secured in his mouth so that the fisherman can pull that fish in. But it's also a tent peg. I'm going to show you right here. If you know anything about making a tent, you know when you have a tent, to keep the tent from blowing away, you put strings on it. You attach strings to it. And you put it into the ground. And you use tent pegs. You hook the string onto the peg and you drive the peg into the ground. Each corner would have a tent peg attached to it. And that peg would be driven into the ground to secure the tent from flying away. So the word wawa, which comes from the root word wa, means tent peg, means hook, also means to secure. So let's move on. And the wa also has a numerical value of 6. Our next letter. Za. Now, za looks very familiar in the English language, don't it? Looks just like a Z. Pronounce za. Say it with me. Za. Za, just like the Z in English. Za. Za comes from the Hebrew root word Zayan. Zayan has a numerical value of the number 7. Notice a 7 in there also. So Zayan means weapon. Make sure you take notes as to the meanings of each letter. That would also help to build your vocabulary. So the za here, numerical value 7, comes from the root word zayan. Zayan is written like this. Za, ya, and na. Come together, pronounce Zayan. Zayan. Zayan meaning weapon. Now Zayan, when you go back a little further, was also used as a plow or some kind of harvest tool. But today we know it as a weapon. Use it as a weapon. So we're going to put down also here that it could mean a plow or some kind of harvest tool. I'm going to show you how they came up with the za as being a weapon. I don't know how many Star Wars or Star Trek fans we have out there, but there was an episode where one of their crew members, it's a black guy, he had a weapon. He was training on the ship. The weapon looked like this. It had a blade on each side like that, and you would grip it on the inside like that, and he was fighting with it like this. That was his weapon. That's what he trained with. But if you look at it also, it can also be an instrument used to plow the field. When you're going through the field, you'll cut this way and that way as you going through the field. So it can be used as both ways, as a weapon and as a plow instrument used to harvest the field. So that's the letter za, meaning weapon or farm tool. And the next letter we have in the Hebrew alphabet is the cha. This is one of the most difficult words or difficult letters people have pronouncing. A lot of people will say, well, that's a cha. Well, it's not a ka. This is a cha. We're going to work on pronouncing this, because it's very important when you're pronouncing words to pronounce it correctly. The ka is sounded from the back of your throat, like you're gonna spit up or hawk. You're gonna say ha, ha. Say it with me, ha, ha, ha. The numerical value is the number 8. So let's say it a couple more times. Ha. It's going to take you a while to get used to it, but remember, it's coming from the back of your throat. Ha. Ha. That's how you pronounce this letter here. Now, the root word for the ha is chet. So let's try to pronounce this. Chat. Chat. It's written like this. The cha and the tha together. Pronounce chat. Chat meaning wall. Or to divide. So let's say this again. Chath. Chath, meaning wall or divide. Now we're going to show you how the root word came from. Here's the cha, right here. Now, how many carpenters or construction workers we have here? We know what this is. This is a wall. And inside of the wall, anyone that has a home knows that inside the wall, there are beams inside the wall. Each is supposed to be about 12 inches apart. What do? They divide. They divide one room from another room. So the Hebrew word cha, meaning wall or divide, this is where it comes from. The wall. The different beams that go through the wall to separate and divide it. That's the word chat. Everybody understand that? Let's move on. The next letter is ta. Looks like a railroad crossing of some kind, but it's pronounced ta. Ta, meaning clay, also means to store. These are original root word meanings. The Hebrew word here is tat. That's the root word, tat, meaning clay or to store. Because back in the days, in the ancient times, we would store different stuff in baskets or drums. So this would be the outside of the drum here, and right here, that would show the depth of the drum when you're looking into it. So this would be a clay pot or clay vessel used to store different food and different things. That's the ta. The numerical value is 9. So let's say this letter again. Ta. Say it with me. Ta. Ta. Meaning from the Hebrew root word tat, meaning clay or to store. Numerical value number 9. Okay, the next letter we have is the Ya. The Ya has a numerical value of 10. So let's pronounce this letter right here. Ya. Ya. Say it with me. Ya. Numerical value 10. The Ya comes from the root word yad, meaning hand or arm. So the root word for the letter Ya is yad, meaning hand or arm. So say the letter again. Ya. Ya, coming from the root word yad, meaning hand or arm. This is how you would write yad. You'll have the ya and the da, and you'll have them connected like that. Now remember, Hebrew is from which direction? What direction? That's right. It's from right to left. So when you read this, this is Ya, Ya and Da together. This little symbol here brings these two letters together, and it would give you Yad. Yad, meaning hand. Now we're going to show you with a simple drawing. Like I said, don't mind my drawing, I'm no artist. How we derive the Ya from. Here's a man, or supposed to be a man, and this is his body, whatever. Got his neck, and you can see the Ya right there. See it? Hope y'all can see it pretty good, because I can. See the Ya, which is what? The arm. That's the Ya right here. So the root word for the Ya is Yad, meaning the arm or the hand. The next letter we have is the letter Ka. Not to get it confused with the Cha, but this is the letter Ka. Different sound, different letter, different meaning. That's why pronunciation of the letters are very important. So Ka right here comes from the root word Kap, meaning the palm of your hand. Palm of hand. Numerical value for the Ka, 20. So we have the letter Ka here. Let's say it together. Ka. 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 From the root word kap, meaning palm of hand. So now we're going to show you where they got the Ka from. When you look at your hand, do you see different lines inside of your hand? Most people's hands are basically the same. You know, they all have this little V. I don't know if you can see it, but look at your own hand. Right in between your thumb and your index finger, you would see that there's a V in there. Most people have that V in their hand. So when you take that V with the rest of your fingers, with the rest of your hand, so your hand will be like that. So if you put it like that, you'll have your fingers up here. This will be in, you'll have your thumb over here. And inside your hand, you'll see these different lines here. You might even see a line over here, you know. But that's where the Ka comes from the kap, the palm. See it right there? The palm of your hand. Ka, palm of hand. Everybody got that so far? Take a good look at it. Look at your own palm. So that was the root word kap, meaning palm of hand. Let's go on. The next letter in the Hebrew alphabet is La. Looks just like the English L, because that's where they got it from. The La. The La comes from the root word lamed or lamad. Lamad meaning staff, that's the original meaning. Lamad also means to learn. So we have the Hebrew letter La. La coming from the root word lamad, meaning staff or to learn. So you would write it in Hebrew like this. You'll have the La, you'll also have the Ma, and you'll have the Da. You'll put the Ma and the Da together and you would have La Mad, meaning staff or to learn. Okay. The next letter is Ma. Ma has a numerical value of 40. The La that we said earlier has the numerical value of 30. Let me write that down for you. The La has a numerical value of 30. I didn't write that down earlier. So La is 30. Notice we're jumping by tens now. So we went from 1 to 10. So now we're jumping tens. So the next letter is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so on and so forth. So the La is numerical value 30. The Ma numerical value is 40. The Ma comes from the root word Mayam. Mayam means what? Water. Sea. Now, let's pronounce the Ma. Say it with me. Ma. 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 From the root word Mayam. Mayam meaning water or sea. This is how you would write Mayam. You'll have the Ma, then you'll have the Ya, and you'll have another Ma. That's connected. So you have Ma, Yum. Ma, Yum. Mayam meaning water or sea. Now we're going to show you how they derive with the way that Ma looks. Now you notice the Ma. Let me show you this right here. The English letter M, what did it do? How did they get that M? All it did was flip the Ma upside down. Notice the M in here, which is upside down, and they came up with the English letter M. But the root word we're going back to is water or sea. When you look on the ocean or the sea, you would notice that the ocean and the sea has, what do you call? Waves. So the waves of the sea represent the Ma or the water. So if you take the waves right here, and you bring it down like that, what do you have? You have a Ma, meaning from the sea, water, because the Ma represent the waves of the water or the sea. So that's where they got the letter Ma from, meaning water or sea. The next letter we have is the letter Na. Na, which has a numerical value of 50. Na comes from the root word none, meaning seed, sprout, or actually a seed sprout, okay, so we have the na right here. Na, say it with me, na, na, na. Now just like the ma, the na was turned upside down the same way on its side. If you was to add a hook right here, what would you have? An upside down na. Same thing. So the English letter N comes from the root word, the Hebrew letter na. Numerical value of 50. The root word none, meaning seed sprout. So we're going to move on. The next letter. Okay, the next letter in the Hebrew alphabet is the Sa. The Sa has a numerical value of 60. It comes from the root word samak. Samak. The root word samak means support, and it could also mean thorn. So let's say the word sa, 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 from the root word samak, samak. This is how you would write it. In the Hebrew, you'll have the sa, then you'll have the ma, and the ka. The ka being connected here. So you'll have samak, samak. Samak meaning support. Now how they derive from this word here, this letter here, is if you look at the sa as it is right now, it looks like a thorn off of a tree. But in Israel, we used to carry flag insignias for each tribe, and each tribe would hang their flag on the flag support, or the samak. And that's where the origin of the word samak came from the flag support. So let's say this one more time. sa. Sa. From the root word samak. Is I. That's that second vowel sound that I was telling you about. The I. The I comes from the Hebrew root word ayan. Meaning the eye. Because if you look at your eye, it's round, it's got a little pupil on the inside like that. That's where you get the Hebrew letter I from the root word ayan. You would write it in Hebrew like this. This would be the I, then you'll have the ya and the na. Ayan. Ayan, meaning I. Numerical value. $70. So let's say this. I. From the root word ayan. Ayan, meaning I. The next letter we have is the pa. Numerical value 80. Comes from the root word now. Pa, meaning mouth. Pretty simple to look at it. This is your mouth. If you can picture, let me try and draw it for you. This would be like a side view of a head. You'll have the nose, and say you have the mouth right here, right? Got the eye over here. And this is the pa, meaning the mouth. All it is turn the other way. See it? The pa. You have your tongue sticking out, but that's your mouth right there. Pa. Pa meaning mouth. The next letter, Taza. Root word from the word Taza is Tazad. Numerical value 90. Okay, Tazad comes from the root word meaning side. So the numerical value for the letter Tazah is 90. Coming from the root word tazad, meaning side. So let's say this word, this letter. Tazah. 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 Notice there are two letters in here. A T and a Z. You can see the T right here, if you can stretch your imagination a little bit. See the T right here? And then you have the Z right here. And there you have the letter Tazah. Tazad, which is the root word meaning side. Next letter. Qua. Numerical value 100. Qua comes from the root word quap. Say that with me. Quap. Quap meaning circle. Or it could also go back to the root words meaning like the horizon, you know, the sunrise. I'm going to show you that a little bit. Well, when you look at it, the qua, it looks like the horizon is over here and the sun is coming up over the horizon. So the Hebrew word qua, numerical value 100, comes from the root word quap, meaning circle, horizon. So say that letter with me today. Qua. 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 The root word quap. Quap. The English letter, when you look at the qua, looks like what letter? The English letter Q. See the capital Q here? Q here? Same thing. Just flip to the side. The qua and the Q. Same letter. The next letter is the letter Ra. So we have the Ra here, which has a numerical value of 200. The Ra comes from the root word Ra'ash. Ra'ash meaning head. Head meaning a man's head. So the Ra here, the root word Ra'ash, you would write it like this. You'll have the Ra, the Ah, and the Shah. So you'll have Ra'ash. Ra'ash. Say it again. Ra'ash, meaning head. So I'm going to make another attempt to draw the head of a man. This would be more like the side view. Looks like a dinosaur, but we'll just make it the head of a man. You know, that would be his nose out here. And that would be the Ra. Actually, he's supposed to be facing that way, but you can kind of see the Ra in there if you just turn it around. Like I said, I'm not the best drawer, so bear with me. But you can all see the Ra in the head, right? Meaning Ra'ash. The next letter is the Sha. Numerical value 300. Sha, coming from the root word shun. Shun meaning tooth. Or not tooth, but actually this should be teeth, because there's more than one here. So Sha, say it with me, Sha, 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 from the root word shun. This is how you would write shun. You'll have the Sha and the Na, and they'll be connected. You'll get shun, Sha and Na, shun, shun, shun meaning teeth. Because as you look into a mouth, I'm going to draw the mouth right here. This is an open mouth. When you look in there, what do you see? You'll see upper teeth and lower. So the shun, which you see right in here, represents teeth, teeth of your mouth. So that's the Sha. Numerical value 300. And our last and final letter, Tha. Numerical value 400. So the Tha comes from the root word Thor, meaning sign or mark. You know, they always say X marks the spot. Where they got the X from the Tha. But notice the Tha is a little sideways. It looks just like the X. If you would take the little tail off of the Tha, what do you have? The mark, sign, railroad crossing sign. The Tha, meaning sign or mark. X marks the spot. Numerical value 400. And these are your Hebrew characters. I'm going to write them on here one more time. You're going to say them with me as I write them. A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, sha, and tha. That's the Hebrew alphabet, all 22 characters. Sometimes you can make up a song. I made this song up or for the alphabet for my children so that they can learn it. And it goes like this. Abagada hawaza chatayaka la manasa aipataza kwarashatha. You say it as you're rhyming it because all these letters all end in the same vowel sound. It's easier to rhyme it because Hebrew is basically a poetic language. That's why when you speak it, it's more like you're saying poetry. You know, as we get further on in speaking and learning the letters, you would see that how these letters flow, and when you read them, it's like reading poetry. It's like singing a song. That's why all these letters, you know, they basically rhyme, and you can make up a song so you can memorize these letters. You know, practice saying them while you're at home, while you're on the train, wherever you're at, just keep them in your mind. Abaga da hawaza chatayaka la manasa aipataza kwarashatha. Hebrew 22 letters. Now I'm going to show you one more thing before we end this class. I'm going to show you this little thing that we call a connector. This isn't part of the Hebrew alphabet. It's something we put together so that brothers and sisters can learn how to put the letters together and pronounce it the correct way. Now, a connector, you can write this down, connects two characters by dropping the last ah, put that in parentheses, the last ah sound. I want you to take time, write that down if you can, or memorize it. A connector connects two characters by dropping the last ah sound. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples as how that is done. So I'm going to erase this right now. We'll start off with the first letter in the alphabet, which comes from the root word lap. first letter you have here, we know is A. No connector under it, but the next two letters here, we have the letter La and the letter Pa. And these two here are connected. Now I'm going to switch the writing so you can understand it or see it a little better. We have A, La, and Pa. And these two here have the connector. Don't get yourself confused, because when you're writing the Hebrew characters, you're going from right to left. But for edification, I'm doing it this way. So you'll have the A, the La, and the Pa, like that, not to get it confused. So the La and the Pa is connected. So the connector does what? You drop the last A sound of the second, I didn't write that down though, of the second character. This would be the second character connected. These two, this is the first character connected, this is second. So the connector, when you see the connector under here, you drop the A sound of the second character. This would be the Pa, which would be the second character. So the vowel sound of the Pa is what? The A sound. Where do you see the A sound? Right here. This is the A. You want to drop that. So no longer would you pronounce that A. You won't say A la Pa. But what you would say now, once you've dropped that vowel sound, you would say A lap, because you no longer have that vowel sound there. So your new word would be A lap. Look over here. A lap, because you dropped that last vowel sound. We're going to do a couple of more. We're going to use the next letter, which is the word for tent or house, which is Ba, Ya, and Tha. We're going to connect the Ya and the Tha, and we're going to come up with the word. We're going to write it out just like we did the other one. The first letter here, which has no connector, is the Ba. That's the Ba right here. Next two letters from right to left is the Ya and the Tha. So you'll have the Ya and you'll have the Tha. And these two will be connected here like that. Now, as I wrote earlier, the rule is you drop the last vowel sound of the second character, which is the A sound. The last A sound of the second character. The second character would be the Tha. The vowel sound in the Tha is the A sound. You're going to drop that A sound. So you just have Ba, Ya. Notice the Tha no longer has the A sound, so it's just, so it'll be Ba, Yath. Ba, Yath. Ba, Yath. Say it with me. Ba, Yath. Ba, Yath. Ba, Yath, as we learned earlier, means house or tent. Gonna give you one more using the I sound. And I'm going to give you some examples that you can practice on your own. Like I said earlier, After you watch this video, you can go to the website, which is hodc12.info, and soon I'm going to be putting up, you're going to look for where it says Hebrew classes, and I'm going to have PDF forms of quizzes, homework, and stuff like that that you can download, print, and do at home. And on the following class, we can review it as to see how you're progressing with your Hebrew. So I'm going to give you a couple more. I'm going to give you one with the I sound in it. This word here is what's the first letter right there? I know you know it. It's the letter Sha. And the next letter is, what do we have? The upside down M, or Ma. And the last character, I. But this is how we actually spell I. I is actually spelled A-I, not just I. So you have the Sha here, the Ma, and the I. The Ma and the I are connected. So these two here are connected. So when you connect these two, the Ma and the I, the Sha stays the same. The Ma stays the same. Now you have to do what? According to the rule. You have to drop the last Ah sound of the second character, which is what? The I. The Ah sound in the I is what? The A. You're going to drop that A out of there, and you'll be left with what? I. So now you would have Shemai. Shemai. Shemai meaning what? To listen. We all know the Hebrew Israelite credo. Shema Yasha Allah, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Achad. Shemai, meaning to listen or to hear. So you have Shemai, 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 meaning to listen or to hear. So I'm going to put up a couple of words on here, and I want you to practice on your own. Okay, I want you to copy these down, write them down, and I want you to do the same thing that I did previously. Write out the letters, show the connectors on how you connect it, and then drop that ah or that A sound from the second character and tell me what you come up with. Next week, I'm going to put up another video. We're going to go over these same letters, and we're going to continue on with part 2 of the Hebrew. Because today, you just learned the basic alphabet. You learned where the letters came from, the root words, and you learn how to connect them. Once you learn how to connect them, you learn how to pronounce them. Once you can pronounce the words, you can begin reading the Hebrew. Once you learn to read the Hebrew, then we're going to learn the grammatical text as to how to put words and sentences together so that we can actually write sentences, write prayers, and actually conduct conversation in the ancient language. So I'm going to say Shalom, peace to my brothers and sisters in Israel, and we'll continue next week with part 2 of the ancient Hebrew language. Shalom meaning peace or greetings.